My child, stop for a moment. Do not let your hand move past this message, because what you are about to hear was not placed before you by accident. Something is unfolding around your heart right now, something quiet, urgent, and deeply personal. While you have been trying to continue your day as though everything is normal, someone connected to your soul has been fighting an invisible battle to reach you. They have opened a message, erased it, rewritten it, and stared at your name longer than they would ever admit. And heaven has seen every trembling moment. Pause here, because the truth is closer than you realize. Your soulmate is attempting to reach you right now, but the message they want to send is not an ordinary message. It is carrying the weight of everything they have kept locked inside. It contains words they once believed they would never have the courage to speak. It contains an admission that could change the way you understand the silence between you. And before this revelation is complete, you must understand why their heart has suddenly become so restless. Do not skip, because the next few moments will uncover what changed inside them. Until recently, they believed they could keep delaying this conversation. They told themselves there would be another day, another opportunity, another perfect moment when fear would disappear and the right words would arrive. But something happened. A quiet realization entered their spirit and refused to leave. They saw how easily time can move forward without permission. They understood that waiting does not always protect love. Sometimes waiting slowly pushes two people farther apart. Your soulmate felt this truth more deeply than ever before. It came to them in an unexpected moment, perhaps when they were alone, perhaps when a familiar song began to play, perhaps when they saw something that reminded them of you. Whatever the moment looked like, it broke through the walls they had carefully built. They could no longer pretend that your absence had become easy. They could no longer convince themselves that they had forgotten what your presence awakened inside them. Something huge is waiting for you in this message, because their attempt to reach you is connected to a decision they have already begun to make. They are not simply feeling nostalgic. They are not merely thinking about the past. They are standing at an emotional doorway, and on the other side of that doorway is a choice that may affect both of your paths. Listen carefully. The silence you have experienced was never as empty as it appeared. Behind it, there were questions. Behind it, there were unsent words. Behind it, there were nights when they wondered whether you still thought about them. They tried to interpret your distance. They searched through old memories for signs they might have misunderstood. They replayed conversations, pauses, expressions, and moments when your eyes seemed to say what your voice could not. They asked themselves whether they had waited too long. That question has now become impossible for them to ignore. Stay until the end, because what they are preparing to reveal goes beyond a simple confession. There is something they learned about themselves through losing access to your energy. They discovered that your presence had become part of the way they understood peace. They did not recognize it while you were close. They assumed that the comfort they felt around you would always remain available. But when distance entered, the world began to feel different. Certain places lost their warmth. Certain conversations felt shallow. Certain victories felt incomplete because you were not the person hearing about them. They could smile around others, but something inside them remained unconvinced. They could stay busy, but when the noise faded, your memory returned with even greater clarity. This is why they are attempting to reach you now. Their spirit is tired of pretending that silence is strength. My child, there are moments when the heart becomes louder than fear. This is one of those moments. Your soulmate has been resisting the truth because they were afraid of what reaching out might reveal. They wondered whether you had moved on. They feared that you might respond with distance. They feared that the bond they still felt might exist only inside them. But then something shifted. They began to understand that not knowing was becoming more painful than rejection. The unanswered questions were becoming heavier than the risk of speaking. Every day they remained silent, their mind created another version of what might have happened if they had simply been honest. And now those imagined possibilities have become impossible to carry. Do not turn away, because the next revelation is the one they have tried hardest to hide. Your soulmate has been observing the changes within you from a distance. They may have heard something about you. They may have noticed your strength, your growth, or the way you have become more protective of your peace. Something about the person you are becoming has awakened urgency inside them. They know you are no longer waiting in the same way. They can feel that your energy has changed. You are still capable of love, but you are no longer willing to abandon yourself for it. You are still open to connection, but you are learning that real love must arrive with clarity, effort, and truth. This transformation has made them realize that the door they once assumed would remain open forever may not remain open without action. And that realization frightened them, not because they want to control you, but because they finally understand your value. For too long, they measured your love by your patience. They believed your understanding meant there would always be more time. They mistook your softness for permanence. They thought the bond could survive endless hesitation without being changed by it. But now they see that even the deepest love must be honored. Your soulmate is not only trying to reach your phone. They are trying to reach the version of you that once believed in them without needing proof. They are hoping that somewhere beneath the disappointment, the connection still lives. They are wondering whether the bridge between you can still be crossed. Something extraordinary is approaching, because the words they are preparing are not the same words they would have spoken before. Their heart has been humbled. Their perspective has been altered. They are beginning to recognize the ways fear influenced their choices. They see where pride created distance. They see where confusion became an excuse. They see where they expected you to understand what they never explained. This realization has not been easy for them. There was a moment recently when they came close to contacting you. Their fingers hovered over the screen. Your name appeared before them. Their heart began to beat faster. They imagined your reaction before they had even written the first sentence. Then they stopped. But do not misunderstand that pause. It was not because they changed their mind. It was because they realized the message could not be casual. They could not return with empty words after such meaningful silence. They could not simply ask how you were while hiding everything they truly wanted to say. They knew that if they reached you, they would have to be real. And now they are preparing themselves for that honesty. Do not skip this part, because heaven is revealing why their timing feels so urgent. They recently experienced something that made them confront the possibility of losing you permanently. It may not have been a dramatic event visible to others. It may have been a small sentence spoken by someone close to them. It may have been a dream that stayed with them after waking. It may have been the sight of someone else receiving the kind of love they once had within reach. But in that moment, one truth entered their heart: if they continue waiting, someone else may recognize what they were too afraid to honor. That thought changed everything. They imagined you giving your laughter to someone who does not make you question your place. They imagined you building a future with someone who speaks clearly, chooses bravely, and does not leave your heart suspended between hope and uncertainty. They imagined hearing that you had finally closed the chapter they kept assuming was unfinished. And for the first time, they felt the full weight of their delay. My child, this message is not telling you to chase anyone. It is not asking you to abandon your boundaries. It is revealing that movement is taking place beyond what you can currently see. You have spent enough time wondering whether the connection meant as much to them as it did to you. You have questioned whether your intuition was simply creating hope where none existed. But the bond affected them more deeply than their behavior allowed you to see. They carried your words into rooms you never entered. They compared new connections to the peace they felt with you. They tried to move forward, yet certain parts of their heart remained facing backward. Every time they believed they had finally silenced the memory, something simple brought you back. A fragrance. A place. A phrase. A particular time of night. And each return became stronger. Your soulmate is attempting to reach you because the emotional pressure inside them has reached a point where silence no longer feels safe. The truth wants to be spoken. The apology wants to be released. The question they have carried wants an answer. But there is still one thing stopping them. It is not a lack of love. It is not indifference. It is the fear that you will look at them and see only the pain their silence created. They are afraid that the version of them you remember has already become permanent in your mind. They wonder whether their growth arrived too late. They fear that even if their intentions are sincere now, you may believe they are returning only because they feel lonely. This is why their message has been written and erased so many times. Every sentence feels too small for what they need to explain. Every opening sounds incomplete. They do not know how to summarize months of emotion in a few lines. They have considered saying, "I have been thinking about you." But that does not reveal the nights they could not stop. They have considered saying, "I miss you." But that does not reveal how deeply your absence changed them. They have considered saying, "Can we talk?" But that does not explain why the conversation matters more now than it ever did before. Stay with me, because the hidden part of their message is beginning to emerge. Your soulmate wants to tell you that they misunderstood the nature of your connection. They once believed intensity alone made love real. They expected love to announce itself through dramatic moments, perfect timing, and undeniable certainty. But your bond taught them something different. It taught them that real love can feel quiet. It can appear in the person who remembers small details. It can live inside patience, concern, and emotional safety. It can be present in the one person whose absence changes the atmosphere of an entire room. They did not understand this while they had access to you. Now they do. The revelation is painful because it means admitting that what they searched for elsewhere may have already been standing before them. They looked for certainty while resisting the very person who made them feel known. They searched for signs while ignoring the peace your presence created. And now the truth has returned with a force they cannot dismiss. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are no longer asking themselves whether they should reach out. The question has changed. Now they are asking how they can reach you without causing more harm. They want to approach you carefully. They know your heart is not a place they can enter carelessly. They know they cannot appear, say a few beautiful words, and expect the past to disappear. They understand that trust must be rebuilt through consistency. This awareness is part of what makes their next step different. They are not only preparing a message. They are preparing to accept your response, whatever it may be. That is new for them. Before, fear controlled their actions because they needed certainty before taking a risk. Now they are beginning to understand that sincerity does not demand guaranteed outcomes. True honesty speaks because silence has become dishonest. My child, you may soon notice subtle signs of their approach. A notification that disappears quickly. A name appearing unexpectedly. Someone connected to them asking about you. A memory surfacing with unusual intensity. A dream that feels more vivid than ordinary imagination. Do not force meaning onto every detail, but do not ignore the movement inside your own heart. There are times when the soul senses a conversation before the physical world delivers it. You may already have felt restless without understanding why. You may have thought about them at unusual moments. You may have felt a sudden wave of emotion that did not seem connected to anything happening around you. This does not mean you must act first. It means the emotional field between you is changing. And there is another truth you need to hear before this part ends. Your soulmate has shared something about you with someone they trust. They could no longer carry the conflict alone. They spoke about the distance. They admitted that they still think about you. They revealed that there were things left unsaid. The person listening did not allow them to hide behind excuses. They asked the question your soulmate had been avoiding. What are you waiting for? That question entered them like a bell. They tried to explain their fear. They said they did not know how you would respond. They said too much time might have passed. They said the situation was complicated. But the person listening saw through every defense. They told your soulmate that uncertainty was not a reason to remain silent. They reminded them that regret grows in the space where courage should have acted. They said that if the connection truly mattered, then honesty was the minimum it deserved. Your soulmate became quiet. Because they knew it was true. That conversation is one of the reasons they are attempting to reach you now. Someone has challenged them to stop waiting for a perfect moment that may never arrive. Someone has reminded them that love cannot be protected by hiding it forever. Do not skip now. The most intimate revelation is still ahead. After that conversation ended, your soulmate returned to a private place. They opened the old memories they had avoided. They looked at something connected to you, a photograph, a message, a gift, or a place in their mind they had tried to close. And they finally allowed themselves to feel everything. They did not distract themselves. They did not pretend. They sat with the truth of what you meant to them. They remembered how you looked when you were trying not to show that you were hurt. They remembered the moments you offered understanding when you deserved clarity. They remembered how often you gave them room to be human. Then they recognized something that broke through their final wall. You were not asking for perfection. You were asking for presence. That realization brought them face to face with their greatest regret. They had believed they needed to become completely fearless before choosing you. But you never needed a fearless person. You needed an honest one. Now they are preparing to become that person. My child, guard your peace, but do not close your heart out of fear. Let action speak. Let truth reveal itself slowly. You are not being asked to accept promises without evidence. You are being prepared for a conversation that may carry more emotion than you expect. The person reaching toward you is not approaching with the same understanding they had before. Life has been teaching them through absence. Silence has shown them what words failed to explain. Distance has revealed what closeness once allowed them to overlook. And still, there is one secret they have not told anyone. Not the trusted person who challenged them. Not the people around them. Not even themselves until very recently. It is the real reason their urgency became so intense. There is something they discovered, something connected to a choice, a date, or a future possibility. That made them realize the window to speak may be closing faster than they thought. They are afraid that if they wait even a little longer, circumstances will change in a way neither of you can easily reverse. This is why their energy feels so close. This is why their message keeps returning to your name. This is why heaven has brought you here before the conversation arrives. Your soulmate has already written the first honest sentence. They have read it again and again. Their finger has hovered above the button that would bring their truth directly into your world. But just before they sent it, another message appeared on their screen. And when they saw who it was from, and what it revealed about you, they froze.